Oh.
That's supposed to be a
Thumbnail.
So I'm in a car with Tricia Kopec.
Woo! Sunny out.
Yeah, it's a great day. So thanks for doing this.
Welcome.
Super stoked that you decided you'd do it with us. A little sunroof action.
Yeah.
So Tricia, you're part of a team at Intrigue. It's been a lot. We've been talking a lot about leadership, entrepreneurship, marketing.
Yep.
Over the last couple episodes. I think this is like episode number 15.
Already?
Of something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Exciting.
Starting to really
get
get
longer
some...
list to start scheduling.
Getting some mo. Yeah, Tricia's been part of this whole process, helping us get everybody in a car.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
Maybe you want to just start off then with a quick little intro. Just, Tricia, where you came from and how you kind of joined the team.
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and raised Guelph. I went to Ottawa my first year of school for international marketing. It was super fun, but I decided I wanted to come back home to my home roots, so I came back to Guelph, got into the marketing program here, and thankfully by my fourth year I was like, okay, I need to get some experience if I'm going to be hired by anybody, so I got details. I got introduced to Intrigue, so I applied, and I guess I killed the interview, got the internship. So I started an internship in my fourth year, started just part-time first semester, and then I guess you guys liked me enough to keep me on second semester, which worked out nicely. And then I graduated, and Star left on maternity leave, so I took over her space. So that's kind of how I ended up where I am today, and it's going to be a year full-time for me this month.
Woo! That's amazing.
That's fun. Yeah.
And Star just got back from mat leave.
Yeah, I was in Thailand, so it was a really nice little transition period there. So.
And now you're kind of going into a different direction.
Yeah.
So you've been with the company a year and 8 months.
Yep.
So 2 4-month internships, and then a full year full time.
Yep.
So maybe if there's like a crowd of people out there in school or looking to get work experience, maybe you can tell them a little bit about like the internship process, why you decided to do an internship, and what it was like with us.
For sure. So I find now, I found in the business aspect of things, it's getting really, really competitive. You have to stand out one way or another, because kind of working in the HR process, you can tell people that stand out and people that don't. So you definitely need to make that effort to be different. So I found just preparing for interview questions, going out to a lot of these job and career fairs, talking to people, asking questions. It's really nerve-wracking, but I found the people that I did get interest from at some of these events were because I went and asked the right questions. And the right questions would just be ask about their company, what the culture is like, because I also found a lot of students weren't doing that at these events, and they just kind of walk around shy, and I get it, it sucks, but you kind of got to step up and find that confidence in you. So I think as a university student, I always, especially in fourth year, I found, okay, I know if I want to get an awesome job, I'm going to have to start getting some experience and getting some contacts and learning about different organizations. So I found that for the internship, it was an awesome way for me to apply my skill set and learn some more. So when I joined the internship, I was kind of that person that asked everybody to sit down with them for an hour and can I learn a little bit about web? Can I learn a bit about social media? And I think that that's really helped me grow over the last year and a half and where I am now, because I know a little bit about all these little parts of the company, which is super exciting.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, so I think it's just getting out there, going to those events that the universities host, talking to people, asking friends and family if they know anybody in organizations, and just getting to know people and finding out what you want to do. I think that's also really big.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's really interesting you said before about, getting to these job fairs and kind of work events where industry and workplaces are coming to talk to students.
Yeah.
And students are kind of walking around and shy, but they kind of got to build up that confidence. And it kind of reminded me of the idea that confidence isn't stepping on stage without being afraid to step on stage. Confidence is being afraid to step on stage and stepping on stage anyway.
Yeah.
And you don't have confidence. Like, you can't expect to have confidence before the experience.
Yeah.
The idea is that the experience builds the confidence.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I've learned over my year and a half is, I've always had a little bit of self-image issues and confidence. It's really hard to kind of step up and get to that point of confidence. But with like networking and being a little bit in a sales role, you really just have to push past that fear and just go for it, because you're not the only one that's in that position. And you're going to mess up the first couple times, and you're kind of going to get in the hang of it eventually, so you just kind of got to do it without thinking too much about
And what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, honestly, that was the thing. I mean, I met some people that are just like, okay, well, I just said something stupid, but I'm over it. Like, I'm never going to see them again, so I don't really...
I have a story that I've told a couple times about cold calling, which I won't tell today. I'll tell in a video on its own, because it takes a couple minutes to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what's the worst they can do? You make a mistake, and then you learn from it, and you move on, and you grow from it.
Yeah, and it's funny. I heard a podcast, and the lady was talking about this 5-second rule. Just like count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. Don't let your brain start thinking about it, because when the fear takes over, you're not going to do it. So
that's awesome. Craig was talking about that on the car like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was on
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, Lewis House podcast.
I love
Mel
it.
Robbins. It's the best podcast if anybody needs something awesome to listen to.
Say it again.
Lewis House.
Yeah.
And that was Mel Robbins. She has a book on it too. I think it's called the 5-second rule.
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's been a year full time at Intrigue, a year and 8 months overall in terms of being inside the organization. What has been one of your biggest kind of takeaways, aha moments? I don't know, something that you've learned about leadership or yourself. What's the kind of thing that sticks out for you in terms of your time in the organization?
I think pushing past your comfort zone, kind of like we talked about. You always used to scare the crap out of me, because I'd come with you and ask you a question. You're like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. But I found over, especially the last few months, I've had the ability to make my own decisions and not doubt myself. So thank you for teaching me that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Which I know you didn't mean to, but it was definitely a stepping stone when you're going into an organization.
I meant to.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I didn't mean to scare you.
Not scare me, but it was just kind of like, whoa.
So tell us a little bit about that feeling that you had when we started encouraging you to make your own decisions. And you mentioned it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it was kind of scary, because I'm like, I'm new. I don't know, like, if what I say is going to be the best thing. But that being said, having that opportunity to make my own decisions gave me confidence in myself, that my team trusted me and they hired me for a reason, and that I had the confidence and the knowledge and the skill set to make my own decisions. So, yeah.
And now a year later, you're doing it.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember the last time you're like, what do you think we should do? And
yeah.
I'm like, I don't even
And I know
that.
every time I ask Rob, should we do it? I'm just like, no, I'm just going to do it anyways. And then if it's a no, then it's a no.
It's one of my favorite things is when people start coming up to me and saying, FYI, this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, great, let's go. Yeah, let's move.
Yeah, so that was one of the big things. Just stepping outside of your comfort zone. Swallowing your frogs and doing things that are uncomfortable at the beginning of the day or beginning of the week. There's been some situations where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this, and then you do it, and it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. So now, every time I have to do something that I'm dreading, I just don't worry too much about it, because I know it's going to be fine regardless.
You just get it done. Can you give us an example of something that's happened either like a while ago or something recently? We find this all the time with clients and team members. Maybe something didn't go well, or maybe a campaign didn't work out the way we thought it was, or maybe something got dropped and fell through the cracks. You know, whatever. There could be a million things that we might have to communicate to somebody that might not be considered good news.
Yeah.
And we find typically that team members get like, you know, not frozen in paralysis about the idea, but, you know, a little nervous and some anxiety around the idea of having to go through this. Like, we had a client that we didn't invoice for an entire 12 months. And through an audit, we found that we had been doing all this work for them to the tune of, you know, whatever, not small 5 figures.
Yeah.
And I had to have a conversation with them about how we're going to handle this. And I got to tell you, you know, that's not a fun...
FYI, you owe us all this money.
A lot of money. That's not a fun conversation, but you just bite the bullet and go through it. And they handled it great. I mean, I got a little bit of a chew out, but but I mean, like, I can understand where they're coming from. So what's a story that maybe stuck out for you?
Oh God,
is there a lot?
I can't. It's either a lot or I just can't think of one at this very moment in time.
But I think the lesson's still true though, and we see this 100% of the time when someone thinks something's going to go really badly.
Yeah.
And they get nervous about having to do it, and then once it's done, they're like, oh. That wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I know I have a lot of them. I just can't think
That's
of
okay. Well, I told you I was going to put you on the spot today. And I think it really kind of comes back down to that it's not how you feel that determines what you do. It's what you do that determines how you feel.
Yeah.
Because by not dealing with it, we build anxiety and stress in ourselves. And dealing with it makes us feel better because, well, A, it wasn't nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And B, it's dealt with.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I found over the last year I've learned too that even if it does not end up as well as you thought it was going to, like it's happened, it's done with, you'll be okay. It's gonna be fine. So I think just having that mindset that stuff happens every day, but if you get past it, then what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
And I think that's one of the beautiful things about, our team and you specifically, is that we have this drive to be excellent. And by no means am I saying we're perfect, because we're far from it. But because we're trying to do things ethically and for the betterment of our clients, our team, and our community, it's easy to mess up and hold our head up.
Yeah. And I think that's I love the team for that, because everybody can stand tall and be like, hey, it happened. I'm gonna acknowledge it, and I was at fault. And, what's the word I'm looking for?
Take ownership.
Yeah, they take ownership for it, which is just fantastic to see, especially in such a young group too. For us to learn that so early in life, I think it's awesome.
Woo!
Woo!
Thanks, Tricia.
Bye.
Peace.